What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we're talking about Litecoin today. This one comes to us at the request of Cashies. Cashies, we're doing this one for you, man. Looking at it, it looks like a lot of cryptos right now, right? It just looks like it had its move down, it's chilling, it's moving sideways. It actually has a lower low, which is a bit different from most cryptos. But hey, that's okay. Whatever. I'm sure if we zoom out, it's really just a higher low. Looking at it on the weekly, yeah, it's just a higher low. Lower low than this, lower low than that, sure. A little bit different than some cryptos for sure, but Litecoin is a leading indicator sometimes. It does make its moves before. Sometimes it's a lagging indicator, but the last cycle it started to move up before most coins actually. From bottom to top here, we are right at the 618 area, man. We actually barely got to it. This, I got to be honest, this kind of look is actually bullish. It's very bullish to see that you try to go to your 618, and I promise you that I'm not the only person who sees this line. And this line has been out since the beginning of July of this year, right? From bottom to top there, people have had their eyes on the 618 area, and the fact that you barely got to it, you couldn't quite get to it, and you came up from there. There's some buying pressure down here. And then you had your higher low, and you got another higher low potentially forming this week. Looks good, man. Got a high closing weekly line here. You're finding support on that as well. Maybe this low closing weekly line looks tighter. Looks like you're finding support there. If you take it from this previous low here, you've got like a double bottom on your closing basis. It looks kind of good. It looks kind of good, to be honest. But just like most cryptos, I don't know if I'm completely convinced that it's bottomed yet. Being that this could be a leading crypto, it might be doing its own thing and it might make moves first. Maybe it has bottomed. Maybe it has. But this might be also like a kind of precursor that most cryptos, if they haven't taken out their previous lows yet, that they might be doing that. But maybe not. Who knows? Litecoin could go lower, it could go higher. Who really knows? But at the moment, if we're looking at it from the low to the high, the most relative low to high, you're also bouncing off your 1272, man. That looks nice. I would think that Litecoin at least before, if it was to go lower, I would think that it would at least want to come up to about $75. Here you are sitting at $65.25 right now, so that's a $10 move. That wouldn't be too bad at all. You could move all the way up to your 618, 69 area, somewhere in here, around $82.5 to $85.5, somewhere like that, and then move down lower. It's possible. You might come up here and form a double bottom and then move higher. Like it's hard to say. I'm not a time traveler. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just making predictions here, shooting in the dark. Hopefully one of them hits. Looking at the RSI, I do think that you are at an area. The RSI looks good too, man. I mean, it looks bad. It looks like it wants to go lower, but at the moment, it looks good. It looks like it's found a kind of area that it's been, it's not too accurate, but you see what I'm trying to go for, right? If this was like a descending kind of area, it looks like you might be at the lower ends of that, and you might bounce off of this area. And if you were to bounce up here and you were to go up at all, I would think at least to the 50, maybe up to the 60, and then reject at either one of those areas from there, and probably go to the oversold zone. You might, once you get down there, you might bounce right off the oversold zone. You might get into it and bounce off of some area down there. Let's see how you interact with this thing. Yeah, it looks like you go below it, you bounce off of it, you bounce off of it, you go below it, you bounce off of it. So really hard to say. It could do whatever. The fact that we just went below it, it might be time to hold. Like this time here, below it, came up, came down, held this area, and then up. Maybe we're doing the same thing here, where we're going to come down and hold this area. Maybe we don't bounce directly off of it. Maybe we do have some kind of meandering, and then we go up, something like that. So I do think Litecoin, I guess what I have to say is I do think it goes lower. Probably in the immediate term it goes higher. It forms another lower high. And I think somewhere up around this purple line would be a nice point to see. As the days go on, this purple line will come down. So it could be below this high that the purple line's there. Maybe it's sometime in September, and I would expect sometime in September that we see this move. We could start to see it now, but sometime in September that we top off, and that could be at this previous area of support, which is right around $80, maybe even to $75, something like that. That would make sense to me, man. You've also got support. Let's see. I'm going to delete all these lines here. You've got support there. resistance there. You could go to like $78. That's possible. Let's see here. From this low here, I mean 75, 78, and maybe, just maybe, you go up to about $80, something like that. I would think that any one of these three lines, so likely between what I would say is like 75. Let's be safe here. I want to be correct, so let's be safe. Let's say 75 to $84. We can tighten it up a little bit, maybe 75 to 82, somewhere in there. I think that's where Litecoin's going to go. It's going to form another lower high, and then we're just going to form either a lower low or potentially a double bottom in this same area. But I would think at the moment, I would think it gets a lower low. That's my expectation. So I wonder if we look on the 4 hour if anything's kind of agree. It's a neutral RSI with a kind of bullish tilt to it, and the price itself I would say is the same, right? Neutral looking price, but you're having higher lows coming into play, which is nice to see. Kind of a flat, I know that you're disrespecting it here, but it is kind of a flat area of resistance right here, right? And it looks like you're trying to get above it, so I do think that this overall looks good. I do think it wants to go up, just further kind of providing the likelihood that we go up from here, maybe around, again, around like, what was it, $75 to $82, somewhere in that range. I wonder if we take a fib top to bottom. No. 2272 is right there at 75. $82 is at that 368 area. Like, that's $83, but whatever. You don't have to. In fact, I've seen a lot of cryptos recently. They'll get up near this 368 area and then they'll actually go down. So it could something like that might make sense. Even though that doesn't make sense, something like that might make sense because we've been seeing it here and there. But I do think up from here, to me, would make sense. Looking at the 1 hour, definitely a stronger looking RSI, probably the best looking RSI out of all of them, which would make sense because I think this move will happen in the immediate term. You have a lower low in your RSI right now, and wouldn't you know it, you actually have a higher low here. This low is higher than this low, so that's a lower low right there. But this low is lower than this low, that's a higher low right there, so that is hidden bullish divergence. And you are in this overall, it's more of a sideways trend, but I would say it's somewhat of an uptrend. You have higher lows coming in, flat base. I would, you might be forming some kind of uptrend. Neutral RSI, across most of the ways, but definitely with a bullish tilt. So that's all I got for you guys. I think that Litecoin goes up to around $75 to $82, and then from there we can talk about lower prices than this. How low does it go? Well, that might be the low. This for one really could be the low, but if it's not the low, it could go. We could see Litecoin go maybe down just a little bit lower to the 618 to 0.69 area. And once you know it, that 77, that's the 382 right there too. So this is a previous area where we found support and resistance here. We very well could. I do think we'll go up around that area. Let's see. And it's not uncommon to actually wick through it. So maybe we go like there. That 1272, just from this rough prediction right here, that would be right at the bottom of that sweet spot. So we really could see something like that happen, something like a move that takes us up here and then down to this area. But that's all I got for you guys. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate all the likes. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye bye. Have a good night.